Let's do this.
It's time for Hangin' with Langan.
I like that she's got a big dirty mouth that gets her in trouble.
Wow.
Stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time.
Hi, you guys. It's me. It's Maureen Langan coming to you from my parents' bathroom. So why? You know, I do these little short toilet talks from my parents' bathrooms. They're usually 15, 30 seconds long. However, I did not expect to be at my parents' house tonight because I didn't. So I have no equipment. They don't have a strong internet and they have no light bulbs. You know the light bulb situation. We discussed this recently. I was trying to do a puzzle. I said, Mom, there's no light bulb for me to do my puzzle. We have plenty of light bulbs. You take it from the one lamp and you put it in the other. There's plenty of light bulbs. Then my father, Huey, Jesus, that one's so damn bright. She's going to blind me just so she could do a puzzle. I haven't done a puzzle since 1943, but it was a very stressful environment. So I needed to focus. Anyway, I wanted to fill you in a couple of moments are the official historian of Hangin' with Langan, Professor Peter Bales, a comedian and a brilliant historian. One of your favorites, you keep saying, clamoring, Maureen, when is he coming back? So he's here tonight, and we're going to talk about the filibuster. What? Well, it's everywhere you turn. Keep the filibuster, end the filibuster, buster, filler, buster. What is it about? What really is the filibuster? Because I used to think it just meant standing up and talking for days and peeing into a bag. That's what I thought it was until the clock ran out on whatever the issue was, and then it was like, okay, game over. That's what I thought it was. And I believe it still is that, but I think you're allowed to go to the bathroom. Like me, I'm in the bathroom now. I wouldn't have to stand in front of everyone. I don't know, but Professor Peter Bales is going to fill us in on that. But let me fill you in on a couple of things. So why am I here in my parents' bathroom when I'm a professional and I know that I have to do a podcast? So Huey, he's well. Thank God Huey is well. He is the Energizer Bunny. He's being held together with bubblegum and toothpicks. Sunday night, Maureen Langan comes to see The Immigrant and my blessed father. He's writhing in pain, moaning. Now, normally I won't put stuff like that up there, you know, until I know things are good. So everything's good. He just had a blood clot in his leg. We just called the ambulance, and they just said if things don't turn around in 24 hours, he might be down a leg. So ain't nobody got time to wheel their father around. Thank God everything worked out okay. But I'm like thinking, Jesus, he's going to have to get his leg fitted with something. I'm going to be going to the Invictus Games or whatever they're called. I'm going to be a spokesperson for some kind of Olympics for elderly people. I'm like, I can't take it. But it is scary when you get a call at 3 a.m. that says, well, if things don't turn around, you know, my father's going to have a stump and then something else to attach to. I just can't. Then we've got to build a ramp for the house and my poor mother. So I'm at the house, the home with very few light bulbs, and I'm in the bathroom. And my mother's like, I know what you do in there. You take those little videos and you make fun of me. But yes, that's what I do. And also, too, just a little pet peeve today, leaving the hospital, I think it is abominable that hospitals make you pay to park in their parking lots while you see people who may leave with 1 foot. Like, that is awful. I think it's god awful. I don't have a cheap bone in my body. I will give that $4 to a stranger in the gutter. But that's sad, the gutter. But do not. I think it's horrible. So the lady in the box as you're leaving, thank you for parking here. I go fuck yourself. My mother's like, Jesus, that's raw, saying such things, telling the lady in the box to go fuck herself. I go, you just said it too. It just sounds nicer in an Irish accent. That's all. All right, you guys. So I want you to follow this. I would like you to share this. Please share it. It's so simple to share it. And that's how we grow the numbers of Hangin' with Langan. Please do that. It really means a lot to me. Just share it. Just say, hey, folks, watch it. She's got Peter Bales coming on. Also, letting you know the gigs are starting to happen. They're trickling in. I will be doing a gig at the Bedford Playhouse in Bedford, New York on April 6th. And I will be with Peter Bales on, August. What am I saying? April. August 6th. August 6th, the Bedford Playhouse in Bedford, New York. And then on the 5th, I'm with Peter Bales in Plainview, Long Island. So he's going to give us the details on that. Keep your comments coming. Let's see what you have to say. But what the hell is the filibuster? We know Jimmy Stewart and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. He did something like that. I don't know. I just stared at him because I think he's so handsome. But let's bring to the show the amazing historian, Peter Bales.
All right. It's so good to see you. I'm crazy about you. I never thought I would say this to someone.
Oh, really?
But if during the show, you feel the urge to take a shower, go ahead. It's okay.
Well, good. There's a seat in there for I'll just sit there. It's almost like a desk. There's a seat for Huey.
I love it. I love it. Such a creative backdrop. But it's a real bathroom. Would you feel comfortable if I went into my bathroom now?
I don't know. What's your bathroom like? I don't know. Maybe.
We can go. I can walk down well, all right. You called my bluff. All right. Let's
filibuster from the bathroom. It's just like a privacy. Huey, when he's home, God, he'll be home soon, thank God. By the way, I need lighting because this is the place that has the most lights. My father's delirious with the drugs that they're giving him. I'm at the hospital today. There's little circles he's seeing on the ceiling after he thanked me for all the photos I brought that are on the wall, and there are no photos on the wall. He said, those little circles up there, they're going to turn into light bulbs. I said, I hope so, because we could use them.
I saw a lot of those circles in the 80s. That's powerful stuff he's on, and I hope he's enjoying it.
So let's get to I wish we had that our whole childhood. That would have made things so much easier.
Yes.
All right. I really want to know this. And this is, I talk to you about serious things in a fun way. But really, I think I'm an informed person, but if I'm confused, I think most people are. I always thought the filibuster was a delay tactic. It was a sort of stonewalling. But what is it? Simply tell us, what is filibustering in its purest form, and then we can see how it evolved.
In the early days of our country, there was a long tradition of senators. This is an issue for the Senate only, not the House of Representatives. The Congress is bicameral. I actually had one of my students say in an essay, our Congress is bisexual. No, that's wrong. Our Congress is bicameral. That means two houses, upper house, lower house. And the filibuster applies to the Senate, the upper house.
I think I might have made a mistake and said that. I don't know what I said, but
it applies to the Senate, not the full Congress, and not the House of Representatives. And there's a long tradition
the Senate.
In the early years of our government, our new democracy, of unlimited debate being allowed and the filibuster existing. But the point is that for most of our history, until really late in the 21st century, late in the 20th century, I should say, and continuing in the 21st century, that they only used it for very, very principled reasons.
But what is it? Before you say they only use it, what is the filibuster? What do you do? Do you sit around? What is it? You see something you don't...
You need 60 senators now, in reality, de facto, to pass a bill. All right? Because 60 senators can stop debate on something. And so that means you need 60 senators to pass a bill. And not only can they stop debate, they can block, bringing something to a vote even. So in the Senate, unlike in the House where majority rules, in the Senate where there are 100 senators, you need 60 senators in effect to pass a bill.
So then what do? They just say, I don't want to pass this. They don't show up for work. They get on a plane like the Democrats did in Texas. What happened?
Right. They don't have to do that in the Senate because, you need 60. If you have 60 votes, you're going to get your thing passed. If you don't, you're not going to get it passed.
Right.
That's the filibuster rule. And there's a large debate in America. That's why we're having this show over should we get rid of the filibuster? Has it outlived its usefulness? And way in the back, Maureen.
I would be way in the back being a wise ass. But is the filibuster synonymous with we need 60 people to vote? Like it's like when the Jews need a certain amount of people to have their little, like the really religious one to have a mikvah. So you need a certain amount of people to pass it.
Boy, are you Irish Catholic?
But I got to open this bathroom door. I'm dying in here. So the thing is, if it's so freaking hot in here. If you're saying the filibuster means you need 60 people to pass something. That's what it means. You need 60 senators. That's a filibuster is a quorum of some sort. Right. It's like we need 60 to agree. That is the filibuster. Okay. Now I thought
a minority can block passage of a vote. Now, back in the Jimmy Stewart days, you had to stand and hold your ground like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, or Ted Cruz reading Green Eggs and Ham. But today, you can announce that a filibuster is in effect, so you're not going to have any of those great movie scenes of people collapsing. And what did you say before? Peeing in a bucket, or what did
Whatever
you?
they peed somewhere, and it depends. Depends should be the should sponsor. But wait a second. What you're confusing me with is they can stop the filibuster. What do you mean? Like, I'm still confused. You need 60 people, 60 senators, but you said they can just start a filibuster. How do you start it? What do you mean?
Sometimes in school we have special classes. That's obnoxious.
You're so evil.
We're so used to Robert Rules of Order and a majority rules. You would think, common sense wise, that it would be 51 to 49 to pass a bill.
Right.
All right. But in the Senate, because of the filibuster and the ability to stop a filibuster or bring something to the floor for a vote, you need 60. And what's the problem with that? Why are we discussing this? Because back in the old days, they used it for principled reasons. And today, they're using it to stop the opposing party, the majority party in the Senate, from getting anything passed. It's slowing, it's gridlock. It's the reason for gridlock. It's the reason why bills get bottled up and die. It's the reason why we have such a divided Senate. You notice that the bills are going from the House of Representatives to the Senate, where the Democrats, who may very well, with help from some senators like Mitt Romney and Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, have enough money to get a majority to pass the bill, but they can't get it to the floor because you need 60 votes. That's what the filibuster is. McConnell, even though he's the minority leader, is able to block President Biden's agenda.
Because we have a 60 vote threshold, whereas I believe the founding fathers' intention was a majority rule.
I agree with you 100%. And there's
what debate.
I agree with you 100%, which is, and I like the wall color in the bathroom.
Oh.
You're not going to start plucking yourself anymore.
I'm Irish. I'm not hairy. I'm in my bathroom. Maureen Langan, you're hanging with Langan. My guest is Professor Peter Bales. We're talking about the filibuster. And when we say the filibuster, I'm still confused about when they say we're stopping the filibuster. But a filibuster, I just don't understand the context in which the word is used, how it's used correctly in a sentence. I know what it means. It means, can we stop the filibuster? Meaning we don't need 60 votes. We can do it on a majority rule. But how are they stopping?
Here's President Biden answering the phone from Senator McConnell. You're what? You're going to filibuster my bill? It's very popular in the country. We have 56 votes. What do you mean you're going to block it?
You're going to stonewall it. You're going to delay it. You're not going to let it move ahead. Okay, I want to use.
There are arguments in favor of the filibuster because some people talk about the rights of the minority. Certainly Thomas Jefferson did. And is it dangerous to allow a majority party to easily move something through the Senate with 51 votes? Do you think that would you be comfortable passing? By the way,
we did it. We do it with judges.
There's a process called reconciliation.
Yes, what's that?
Is allowed for budgetary matters. So in passing a budget, the Democrats are able to get 51 votes and pass a budget. It's other matters of substance that are susceptible to the filibuster rule. Previously, they could filibuster Supreme Court justices and other important appointees, but that.
What I liked about that,
by the wayside with McConnell and Trump, and he was able to stack the judiciary with very conservative judges. That's called reconciliation. But is it okay for 51? I mean, we have 100 senators. Is it okay for 51 to pass a major legislation, say the infrastructure bill, something gigantic like that for trillions of dollars? Is it okay? Or should we have a broader mandate? Should we have some Republican support?
But what was the constitutional, the founding fathers? I mean, I'd like ideally when we did need 60 to get a Supreme Court justice passed. But then those were times when people would look at somebody's record and character, and there wasn't this type of, no, you're never going to get your judge in. There was a respect for the intelligence or the record of the person in front of them.
Well, winning an
regardless of
election
partisanship.
means, I agree. You know, what you're getting at here is winning an election means something.
Right.
Now, I don't think our founding fathers intended for senators from the opposing party to block Supreme Court justices based upon their judicial philosophy. And I'll tell you why, because it says in the Constitution, the president nominates Supreme Court justices who take office for life, and some of them take that very seriously into their 90s, and they're found in their office by the cleaning crew.
Oy.
Should you be able to block a Supreme Court justice because you don't agree with his philosophy? Well, you know what? When you're voting for president, you're voting. I'm sorry, I'm standing up out of frame.
I know. It's just who you are.
I know. When you vote for president, that's one of the things you take into consideration is what kind of justices will this guy nominate. And it's just so obvious. When you vote for a Republican in the 21st century and even back in the 20th century, they're going to nominate pro-life justices.
Right.
And when you vote for a Democrat, you know they can't say it. What they're going to say in the campaign, I'm going to nominate the best person. But everybody knows that they're going to a Democratic president will nominate a pro-choice Supreme Court justice.
Well, I have such a naivete because I really believe that the impartiality of judges, the interpretation of the law, which of course we see is not the way it always works out. I just want to pose a question, folks, if you don't mind. I want to know if you think that the filibuster should go away, which means it would be majority rule, right? 51 senators would vote for whatever is come before them, or if we should keep it, and that means 60, where you have to have more of a working consensus, where you come
Thank
together.
you. Very well summed up.
Right, but I'm not done
I want
yet,
to vote
Peter.
first.
Okay,
I want to vote first.
You want to vote first?
Yeah.
So before I get your answer, what I want to do is let people know, if you don't mind, I want to just let them know, because I do this halfway through the show, that they can support the show. I'm going to do a commercial break here in my parents' bathroom. Here, hold on. I usually have a bell, but I'll take the candle, the smelly candle, and the blow dryer, and that will be my, here, I hate smelly stuff. Hear ye, hear ye. I just want to let you know that if you want to support the show, this is what I bring to you. I bring you fabulous guests. There's 2 ways you can do it. There's a million ways you could do it. But please consider going to patreon.com and becoming a supporter of the show for $5 a month. You'll get all the videos. And then for $10, you'll get backstage chats. And for more, I'll put a comedy show together for you. All types of things with Peter Bales, perhaps hosting it because he's the best one in the business. So go to patreon.com/Maureen Langan. And then at another certain level, you'll get a Don't Make Me Hate You t-shirt, which, by the way, is the name of my comedy special coming out on Dry Bar this summer. I'm really looking forward to that. You can go to the store. I have all kinds of Don't Make Me Hate You merchandise. So go to Maureen Langan for that, and you'll see I just put my whole website all together. It's all new. I'm focused on corporate hosting as well as comedy and keynote speaking. I have a TEDx talk. And then the other thing is, and then I will get back to this, consider donating one time if you'd like, a PayPal at Mo Langan or Venmo at Mo Langan. You guys have been so supportive, and it really helps. These have been insane times, and the comedy world is only slowly. And on that note, where am I working with you on August 5th, please, Mr. Peter Bales?
We are working at a very high-end 55 and older
so hurtful
facility. I mean, it's going to be really nice in the ballroom and doing stand-up.
Where?
Me, you, and Joe Starr.
He's so good.
And in Plainview, and the name of the place is, look it up. It's in Plainview.
We'll post it. We'll post it.
We'll post it. Yeah, we'll give you information on that. It's going to be terrific. It's going to be so much fun and great working with you. I want to know all about your comedy special. I got to see that.
Well, it'll be coming out in August in Dry Bar, so I'll keep people posted. I'm excited. We taped it literally a month before lockdown, and so I'll keep you guys posted. But anyway, I want to get back to you. I
want to see it.
Yeah, me too. I want it out. Hey, Eddie Clark, thank you. It's a minion. It's a minion. Yeah, I mean, I think he's a
Eddie
black
Clark.
Jew. Is he a black Jew?
He's a good Jew. He is.
Yeah, well, or a black one though. I mean, is he like Sammy Davis with 2 working eyes? Is that what he is? Okay. So, Shammy. All right, filibuster. What's your vote? Keep it or blow it out of the water?
I love history. I love tradition. I really, really believe in the rights of the minority, but
Ooh.
it's gone too far. It's gone too far. 5 years ago, maybe I would have supported the filibuster, but we've got to do it. We've got to break the logjam. We've got to stop we've got to stop progress from being stopped, from being blocked by this old idea of the filibuster that has been corrupted in the modern times by hyper partisanship. So my vote, and I hope some of the watchers and listeners vote in the comments. My vote, it's time. It's hard for me to say this, but it's time to eliminate the filibuster and go back to majority rule in the Senate. There, I said it.
So why is that hard for you to say? Because idealistically, you would like a coming together of the minds and a working
Because
together.
idealistically, I don't think it should be this party against that party on every issue. It can't possibly be.
It's exhausting.
Back in our younger days, Maureen,
Yes.
There were moderate Republicans. There were even liberal Republicans. And today, you're not going to find even a moderate Republican. If you did find one, they wouldn't have anybody to have lunch with. And it's getting more and more difficult to find conservative Democrats. There used to be you talk about blue dogs. Those are conservative Democrats, but it's harder and harder to find those. Look at the trouble Joe Manchin is creating with he's a blue dog. And the Democrats need everybody they can get.
What is cloture?
Cloture.
I'm so scared. What is it?
Cloture is when you stop debate. I looked it up right before the show. And if you have enough votes to stop debate, that's what cloture is.
How many do you need to stop a debate?
Well, you need to make sure you need to have enough to make sure the other side doesn't have 60. So it varies in number. Why is Danny McKenna saying I need a mention to see Bales? I'm smiling.
He likes busting you. Danny McKenna managed Rascals for many years in New Jersey.
One of the
guy.
classic comedy clubs. I loved it. He's
such a wise ass. I love him. So if it was not originally intended to have a filibuster, that is not what our founding fathers intended. And we'd say, but okay, this is what I look at. We used to stand up and talk until there was a certain amount of time that you can vote or not vote on a matter coming before you in the Senate. Is there like a time clock?
That's very, very flexible. And the Senate doesn't have the same option. I'm not even sure what they're doing in Texas, leaving town. Loser leaves town. What is this, the Wild Wild West? Well, in Texas, it is. I certainly respect those Democrats who are in Texas who are trying to stop the passage of restrictive voting laws, which is all about making it easier for the Republicans to win. I mean,
but we should be doing more. If my mother, God forbid, is in a nursing home or home here and she's very ill, there are states that are saying only an immediate family member can drop off her ballot. She can't have somebody drop off her ballot for her. We'll get into that another time. I want you back to talk about all these voting issues. But here, follow me with this. There's an issue that comes, something to be voted upon in the Senate. Do they have a certain number of hours, days, times? Because when these people would speak, the filibuster until the clock ran out. That was my understanding. When does the clock run out? What are the parameters for that?
Well, if you have 60 votes, you can keep going, but if you don't, you can have cloture and you can close down debate. It's as simple as that. That's why Mitch McConnell still has so much power. And what you're talking about and what I'm talking about is eliminating this and going back to majority rule, which normally, somebody sort of staid and sensible would say, let's give the minority their rights. Let's respect them. Let's pass big issue legislation with more than just 51 votes. Let's get together on this somewhat. However, with the hyperpartisanship, that is not working. You can't have a Senate that does nothing because if of course, in the Congress, the House can pass all the things it wants. But if
the Senate doesn't, yes, I get that.
There's
but Peter,
There's nothing. But Maureen, we've got to eliminate the filibuster because now 51 is the best you can do, and you're lucky, if you can get that.
But Joe Manchin and Cinema won't do that.
Right. And with Joe Manchin and Cinema,
Virginia and Arizona,
getting 51
at home
is hard.
I know.
You're going to get 60. How are
Forget
the Democrats going to get 60 on anything? They're not.
Professor Peter Bales, official historian of Hangin with Langan. I'm coming from my parents' bathroom. And this is a place where we have like an abacus and no lights. I need like a lantern. But Peter, what I need to understand here is why did people get up and talk like Jimmy Stewart did for 100 hours? Like, what was that about? They would go home, some of these people.
In the 70s, they began to change parts of the rule. And now you don't have to stand up and go for hours until you collapse. You can simply say, we have a filibuster in effect. And it's in effect. It's all by vote count now.
So when they say we have a filibuster in effect, and they can say that from their home or their .com, they're basically saying you're not going to get our votes. We're stonewalling.
Well, Mr. Connell would say, well, do you have you don't have 60 votes. You don't have 60 votes. All right, we're going to filibuster you. And that's got to stop. That's got to end.
I hate him so much. I can't even tell you. I can't stand that man.
No, I know.
I really can't. I can't stand him. I just can't. Harry. Okay, I'm going back to an old movie. All right. So, what will it take to end the filibuster?
Well, you didn't vote. You're voting to eliminate the filibuster.
I think. See, ideologically, I always thought having a 60 vote threshold made sense. Then, the more reading I did and found out that was not the intention of the founding fathers, and if the majority was voted in these particular people with this sensibility, that majority ruled. Just like I think no matter who the president is, up until the last day of their tenure, they can appoint whomever they want to the Supreme Court. That's why I was so enraged when Obama was stopped. And yet I felt Trump had every right to push it through as fast as he wanted. It was horrible. I didn't like it. But I think ideally until the last minute of your tenure, you should be able to do that. That you're elected. Those are your days and your years, there.
But that's what's right, Maureen.
I know. I do things.
What Donald did was
he's evil.
Technically legal, as horrible as it was.
He's a horrible person.
As against the spirit of the Constitution as it was,
Mm-hmm.
he got away with it. It's part of his legacy. Merrick Garland is now our top cop. He's head of the Justice Department. He's the Attorney General. It's not like he got nothing ultimately, but I mean, the top of the legal profession is the Supreme Court, and he was just simply ripped off.
But maybe we are finding him in the place that he was meant to be. Maybe if you believe that. I have to believe it. All right. So, based on Maureen Langan's research, based on the intent of the founding fathers, I believe the filibuster should be gone. And when I had all these questions, I kept circling back. I was just trying to understand the difference between speaking for hours versus nobody's speaking anymore. So what does it really mean? And the bottom line, in a nutshell, it means stonewalling. Once you know you don't have 60 votes on the other side, you're like, hey, forget it. Don't even deal with it. We're not going to deal with it.
Getting a lot of comments. Let's get some votes in here. Eliminate the filibuster.
Who's saying that?
Eliminate it.
Eddie Clark, Eddie Clark is a great guy. He's saying, well, he wants to get into the voting stuff. And Eddie, I want to do that. I want to have you join on the show the next time with Peter Bales and myself, because you have a lot of good opinions on that. He says there's a stereotype that Black people are lazy. So the voting laws are based on a racist stereotype, he says. Interesting. So I want to know from you guys, filibuster, should it stay or should I go now? Eddie, what do you think? Should it go?
Well, great. Beth Dolan says, so great. Filibuster from the bathroom. That's kind of what you're doing.
Pam Luce is going to send me a light bulb. Hi, Lou. Well, you can do that, but then you're taking all the fun and craziness out of this. You know what else we used to do? 6 kids, we'd have like 3 pillows. Nobody had enough pillows. So you'd wait till they go to sleep, and then you'd sneak in the room and you'd like rip off a Band-Aid. You'd go 1, 2, 3 and pull the pillow out from under their head. And they'd go,
Maureen, I want to ask you something. This bothers me. It bothers me. We're talking about the politicians and the partisanship and how they're doing wrong. And we're even naming names on this show.
Oh, we're taking names.
We're taking names. Mm-hmm. If you want to be depressed, it's true. You know whose fault the partisanship is?
Uh-oh.
The American people. Why is there a Ted Cruz? He was elected.
Mm-hmm.
Why
Mm-hmm.
are there all of these Trump supporting politicians in the Congress? They were elected. You get what you deserve in democracy. Let's
You are absolutely right. And there are
complaining about individuals. Well, how do you get a senator like that unless a majority, not 60%, but a majority voted for him in their state, an entire state?
yeah.
It's we got problems as a people. All right? We got problems and of course, as a progressive, the answer to me is education, education, and more education. And more shows like this where you just talk about it, you air it out. You transition. You and I 5 years ago would have supported the filibuster. Now you and I are against it because we're so partisan today that we have to do something about it. And our country needs to pass legislation out of the Congress. We can't block everything.
But we are blocking everything.
Well, that's why we need to, change the rules. It's time to change the rules. It's a big deal to change the rules. And I'm saying that, and I'm hearing you say that too, but it's time. That's the main message, I think, from this show. And I think I'm hearing it from you and I'm hearing it from me.
But Peter, in order to stop the filibuster, again, isn't it going to take 60 votes or no? It could be majority. I mean,
good for you. Good for you.
Right? Am I wrong?
That's a great question. That's a great question.
Let's end it. Okay, get 60 friggin' votes. I want to just tell people, if you're watching this on the Hangin with Langan group page, we don't see your name in the comments. We get your comments, but we don't see the name attached. So that's why I'm also looking at my phone and I see my friend Molly. So Molly, I want to be able to see your name. Those of you who want that, just go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. Then they're just going to ask you to click on the blue button and I'll be able to see your name associated with your comments forevermore. StreamYard.com/Facebook, click on the blue button and voila. And again, too, my mind kept getting stuck like a record on understanding the proper use of that word and what context. So really what I learned tonight, I'm not going to be embarrassed if I don't know exactly what things mean. And what I learned tonight from you is it simply means, which I knew you needed 60 votes to move things, to pass legislation.
It's an old Senate tradition.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to tell you, as the official historian,
yes, that's who you are. Yes.
History repeats itself. And things were so tense in the 1850s before the Civil War that senators used to carry guns and knives. They didn't have metal detectors back then. They used to carry guns and knives with them on the floor of the Senate. And there's a cloakroom kind of, underneath the viewer's platform. And there were fights. There's a lot of wheeling and dealing going on under there, and deals are made in that cloakroom. Isn't that a great word from our childhood? They don't use it anymore. A cloakroom. You couldn't have a cloakroom today in a school. There'd be too many lawsuits for all the stuff the boys would do.
Oh, cloakroom.
But, the more things change, the more they stay the same. The more history you can put things in context. You can relax a little bit. You see people walking around, this is the worst America's ever been. No, it's not. No, it's not. We're not in the Depression. We're not fighting for our country's survival against Japan and Germany. We're not in an active civil war, not anywhere close.
I think we're in no, we're not, but I think there is undertones of, after the insurrection, to say there aren't minds that would like a civil war.
Well, yeah, but
I think there were elements of it.
In your neighborhood, what are you going to do? Fight against the guy across the street who's a Trumpy and you're not?
Or your father in the living room?
Or your father in the living room and you're stuck in the bathroom?
I'm stuck in the bathroom. Peter, I hear you. And I do things that sadden me greatly, or when people vote against their best interests, when they get their sound bites from Tucker Carlson, when they don't understand the importance of things like NATO, when they don't understand by saying things are fake news all the time, undermining journalists and what happens to journalists around the world. There has to be more integrity in journalism, but opinion shows are not journalism. And so I get so crazy about those things. And those are talks for another day. But I want you to come back and I want us to talk about this whole voting stuff that's going on, voting rights, lack thereof. And I want Eddie Clark, our buddy, to join us. I'd love if you would do that. And I think that I don't think we're going to be doing a great show together on Long Island on August 5th.
We are. We got to come up with more information for that.
And
I
I'll
will
share
say,
that.
it would be great to be on with Eddie Clark. We go back to Chuckles. Did you play Chuckles?
Now, where was Chuckles?
Chuckles was in Mineola on Long Island.
No, before my time, darling. Wish I had.
I don't know. Maybe really Chuckles. You never played Chuckles?
I didn't play Chuckles. I didn't play Chuckles. I don't know Chuckles the Clown. And I also want to let people know on August 6th, I'll be at the Bedford Playhouse in Bedford, New York, and that's bedfordplayhouse.org. You are such a gem. We're keeping these shows a little shorter so that we pack more in and keep them coming. Mineola, Long Island is where it was. Thank you, Eddie Clark. We love you. All right, you guys. So let's see what happens. I don't know how they can get rid of the filibuster if everybody filibusters the filibustering changes.
Well, every time I talk to you, I have to go look up stuff because
you do?
60 votes to change the rules about the filibuster.
Right? Maureen, but that's so obvious. My cousin Jimmy Collins, love this guy. What's the best way to unseat senators from another state without the typical scandals that don't work anymore, since shame isn't in fashion? Wow. How do you unseat senators? That's a good question. Can you?
Some people go to another state to do canvassing on the behalf of the candidate they want. You can there's something wrong with contributing to a campaign that's out of state or actually going there and physically pounding the pavement and working the phones.
Mm-hmm. Well, one more time, I want you guys to follow, support the show at patreon.com, Maureen Langan. It's a subscription base, once a month, $5, 10 more. I'll get you a Don't Make Me Hate You t-shirt. You'll get backstage, all the videos. You'll get backstage chats, little extras. You'll get a comedy show at different levels. So whatever you want. I can bring Peter. We work together a lot, and he's the best host on the planet. And we'll put shows together for you. So go to patreon.com, Maureen Langan, because that's where artists really build a community and people donate on a subscription base. And if you go, but Maureen, I just want to make a one lump sum. I understand. Then go to PayPal or Venmo at Mo Langan. PayPal.me/Mo Langan, Venmo at Mo Langan. And check out my new website. I just revamped it, MaureenLangan.com. All the information's there. I'll be putting up the show I'm doing with Peter up there, MaureenLangan.com. And keep me in mind for corporate hosting, keynote speaking, and of course, comedy. Oh, okay. Cannot leave before acknowledging Eddie Clark. I thought so. His wife is having twins, a boy and a girl. I saw that on Facebook today.
Who's the father?
Of which one? Eddie, Mazel Tov, said the Irish Catholic. Wonderful, Eddie. All the best to you, sweetheart. And we'll have you on the show soon. Peter, I'll see you soon. You're a gem.
Maureen, you're the best.
Mwah. All right, you guys, I have a lot of good shows coming up for you here on Hangin' with Langan. I have a woman who started a senior dog rescue in the Bay Area of San Francisco Bay Area, and she was on CNN as one of their Heroes of the Year. She has so much great information to share about the importance of rescuing senior dogs. I took one of them home who went and died on me because that's what happens when they get old, but I love my Rocket Man. I have I have so many good things coming on. I have a woman who's a sanitation worker and beauty pageant queen. She'll be joining me soon. I have Carol Berman, a good friend of the show, to come and talk about Sicilian and Greek wines. So we got a lot of good stuff coming up, and you keep them coming when you support at Patreon, Maureen Langan, or Venmo, or PayPal. So I will see you guys again soon. Just keep following. That's what you can do. Follow me on the .com. So until we meet again, I have all these crazy little things. Bye, wig. Mwah.